Welcome back to Teresa's Dead. My name is Teresa and I'm very much alive. I have an awful garbage filthy mouth, so viewer discretion is advised, but if you're not into that or weird shit in general, this is definitely not the place for you. Feel free to exit the video here, no harm, no foul, but I'll remember our time fondly. Welcome to it's not Friday. Welcome to Fun Size Reviews. This video was supposed to come out on Friday, but I pushed it back a day because I wanted to talk about the new Haus Labs Natasha Denona stuff. If you haven't seen it, I'll link it in the corner. I do want to give you a quick update. Today I used the Haus Labs with the Ritual Defeat, and I somehow like it even better than the other primer, the La Mer primer. So Ritual Defeat and Haus Labs make beautiful babies, hence my complexion. I feel really cute today. Today we have a lot of palettes to talk about. Some were purchased, some were sent to me in PR. So I figured why not talk a little bit about them, show you some looks, and at the end have, I don't know, a Libra existential crisis and try to rank them. Y'all enjoy watching me sweat, so why not have a panic attack on the internet about it? Without further ado, let's start with Urban Decay. The Urban Decay She-Hulk palette retails for $45. The packaging is fantastic. I love the packaging. However, I wish the inside of the palette would have the same energy as the outside of the palette. But y'all know that is a common theme when it comes to Urban Decay. They blow their load on the outside and the inside is a little bit of an afterthought. I will say if this had not been tied to She-Hulk, I would have liked it a whole lot more. I think the expectation is like far more grander when you think of She-Hulk. Especially when you have such cool packaging, you're like, oh my god, this is going to be amazing. There's just going to be lots of variety, lots of pops of fun, and then you get this. You're like, wait, what happened? I don't know. I will say for $45, while I do appreciate the lenticular image, I would have liked a mirror. I'm sorry, $45, I'm paying for cardboard. No, that's not cool. The other thing that's kind of annoying is that this is a big bitch. And the shadows, my friends, they are very, very small. With the exception of Hulk Out, which is massive, everything else is like, oh, why is there so much space in here? I get it, She-Hulk's big, but if you're gonna keep that energy, then make a color story and pan size to match. Just saying. Now, as for the overall color story, if I remove the She-Hulk from my brain, it's not bad. I like it. She's a basic bitch with a pop of color. That's cute. So that said, you get 5 mattes and 8 Moondust FX shades. I don't know why they can't just say shimmers. They have to have their own flair to it, I suppose. It's whatever. Let's break it down by formula, starting with the mattes. They're wonderful. And honestly, I really don't have a bad thing to say about them. They're rich in pigment, they're easy to build up, and they blend effortlessly when used together. I didn't experience any muddiness, any patchiness, or any longevity issues. If I had to complain about anything, I wish there were more mattes in the palette. I think this palette would have benefited from either like a toxic green or a really like shockingly fun purple, just something. And I kind of question if some of the shades could have been omitted. Well, again, I really enjoyed the quality. You have the shades like Crushing It and Courtroom Realness that are pretty much very similar. Maybe Crushing It has a little bit of depth, but in reality, if you don't build up the product enough, it could kind of look the same on the eye. And when you do build it up, it's like a small amount of definition. It's nothing to like shit your pants about, I suppose. It's just okay. So I kind of wish that they omitted one of these shades. But again, formula-wise, it's fantastic, and it's one of the things that I love about Urban Decay is that when they do their mattes, they do them right, and I enjoy them. Now, moving on to these special effects shimmers. I kind of like them a lot. I know. Hear me out. This palette reminds me of my treasured, my beloved Urban Decay Cyber palette, which I know there's a lot of people that hate that palette. And listen, rightfully so, you just don't understand excellence. It's one of those palettes you cannot have expectations. You know what I mean? If you have expectations, you're gonna be let down. But if you go in blind, it's fun. Just like the year 2000, okay? Just go in with no expectation, think that the world's gonna end with Y2K, but in reality, everything is just fine, all right? Just like that is the Cyber palette in a nutshell. And that's what the shimmers remind me in this palette. If you're someone that likes a light bit of sparkle and doesn't want something super intense, this is for you. Yes, they are way lighter than, say, an indie brand, yet more pigmented than a luxury brand. This is indeed the Goldie Cox of shimmer shades. I think what helps these babies pop is definitely a little bit of saturation. By a little bit, I mean a lot. Whether you're using water, setting spray. For me, I have sensitive eyes, so I don't tend to use setting spray. I'll use water or NYX glitter glue or any sort of glitter adhesive. The only thing I will say is when you are using them with saturation, you do have to build up the product. I think this is pretty much the only palette that I will talk about today where you really have to build up the shimmers to have a little bit of something. But when you do, it's so pretty. It's so pretty. I can't explain it. It's like a weird wash of watercolor beautifulness. Like, it's gorgeous. Again, no expectations. But again, if you do build them up, they're not going to be super intense. It's just going to be middle of the road. And sometimes middle of the road is just fine. There were a few shades that were kind of glitter bukkake-ish. Were definitely Tinkerbell sharded all over my face, but I'm not that mad about it. Sometimes I don't mind looking like a disco ball. Within the special effects shades, there are 3 duochromes. They're like a light shift, but it's a fun shift. It's like a baby duochrome. It's cute. Then you have 3 metallic shades, and they're slightly more saturated than the rest of the shimmers. For example, Hulk Out definitely has a much more metallic feel than majority of the other shimmers, but again, baby metallic. And then you have like 2 remaining shades. You have My Voice and Gamma Glow, which kind of have more of like, I don't know, like a feathery consistency. They're really, really pretty if you're looking for that more subtle glow. Now, I didn't experience any bullshit with these shades. No longevity, no patchiness, no crumbliness, no flaking, no weird texture, nothing. These were awesome. Now, is this worth $45? Not really. Considering how often Urban Decay goes on sale, if you are interested in this palette, just wait a month or 2. Now, granted, I think you can only purchase this on the Urban Decay site, so I have no idea when this is actually going to be coming to other retailers, but rest assured, just wait. At 50%, it's a fucking steal, okay? If you are a fan of the Cyber palette, you're gonna like this a lot. There's something really lovely about lighter makeup. Like, don't get me wrong, I love a full beat. I love looking like a baby drag queen, but sometimes I just love that light wash of color. And I think Urban Decay lately has been doing it right. You know, not every palette's been a home run by any means, but sometimes that was unexpectedly sweet. I'm like, ooh, I guess I'm exuding sweetness now. There is something to say about some of the, I guess, more recent Urban Decay releases. It's kind of like a nice basic bitch with a twist in a way. I don't know, like, I've been enjoying it. Like I said, I do appreciate a colorful look, but sometimes it's just nice to go into 1 or 2 shades and be done. There is a simplicity to this palette that I really enjoy. And I like that I don't have to feel, I don't know, overwhelmed or stifled. There's a lot of possibilities in this palette. And I like being able to create really pretty effortless looks. So if you're somebody that doesn't like intensity, again, this is for you. But if you do like intensity, I could see this pissing you right the fuck off, so I don't recommend it. But for me, I am an Anne and a Libra. I change my mind all the fucking time. And sometimes I just want to be a basic bitch. And this gives me the ability to be that with a side of edge. I'm basically corporate punk rock. And I'm okay with that. So if you're interested, don't buy it. Don't buy it right now. Just wait for it to go on sale. It will go on sale. Then spend your precious coins. From the packaging and the fact that you don't get a mirror, and with this cardboard packaging, it's definitely not worth the price tag. So, but still, I like it. Now let's shift some gears. We talked about a basic bitch. Now we're going to talk about a colorful bitch. And the next palette I want to talk about is from Belle Beauty Bar, and this is in collaboration with M. Jones 5018, my wonderful friend here on the interwebs. Now this palette is called the Celestial Garden. It retails for $59. And full disclosure, this palette was sent to me in PR, but I am no way affiliated with the brand. So if you're asking for a code, I don't have one. A lot of my lovely colleagues here on YouTube have one. M. Jones also has one. I'll link it right here if you're interested in picking this up, if you want to save some coin. At the end of the day, regardless if this was sent or not, I'm going to give you my full honest thoughts. Now, I've never tried anything from Belle Beauty Bar. I have seen some stuff in the past, but I have not jumped the gun. So when I saw this, I was like, and then when I heard it was getting an NPR, I was like, it was a lot of emotions. So in this palette, you're gonna get 5 mattes, 5 sparkly duochromes, 1 multichrome, and 4 custom split pan water activated liners. I absolutely adore the packaging. I think this is really pretty. I love the phases of the moon. I love the floral motif attached to them. I think it's sleek. I think it's well done. This is cruelty free, bloopity blop blop. It's cute. I also can appreciate that you get a nice quality sized mirror in this palette, unlike the Urban Decay one. The color story is fucking funky and cool and fun. I love that the mattes have a shimmer companion attached to them. I love the addition of the multi-chrome. I think it's fabulous. Now, what makes this palette unique, obviously, is the addition of cake liners. Now, full disclosure, I typically do not like cake liners. I have very sensitive, watery eyes, and they never really work for me because I always find that my eyes water too much from the formula and they just start to disappear into nothing. I have tried cake liners from other brands and I just have never been a fan of them. So when I saw these, initially I was like, I love the colors, but I don't know how they were going to work. So I was a little apprehensive when trying them. So with that said, let's break down the formula. I'm gonna start with the mattes first. I'm gonna make you wait for those liners. So I'm unfamiliar with their older formula. That said, this is supposed to be like their new and improved smooth, soft, matte eyeshadows. I will say, yes, they are smooth, and yes, some are very, very pigmented, but some more than others. For most of these shades, they are incredibly bright, meaning it might take a little extra product just to make it true to pan, but again, not the end of the world. I usually find that's the case when it comes to some of these more like bright neonish shades. And for me, I'm okay with that because it allows me to control the intensity, because sometimes it's easier to build up than it is to take away. But at the end of the day, they are all just wonderful. They blend very easily. They work very well together. And you're able to blend together without the fear of it being a gross, muddy mess. They really complement each other well. Now, as for the shimmers, they're fucking great. The shifts and the intensity are just fucking perfect. They are so easy to work with, so they don't require much hand-holding at all. And I find that with multi-chromes and duochromes, I get a much longer longevity if I am using a glitter base. And these have excellent longevity when using a glitter base. And pretty much with one swipe, you're good to go. I didn't experience any unnecessary glitter bukkake, which is fucking wonderful. Didn't rain down on my face, so it didn't look like Tinkerbell shit all over it. And again, I didn't have any difficulty using them. They operated very much the same, and I didn't see any differences between them. They are sparkly, they are fun, they are celestial, they stand out on their own. I'm just obsessed. I want to try more palettes with this particular formula. It's fucking so good. I feel like these are truly their namesake. They are very celestial. They are so fucking cool. Okay, so the thing that makes this palette a standout, obviously, is the addition of the cake liners. As I mentioned before, I am not a huge fan, right? Because I have sensitive, watery eyes, and it's a fucking hassle for me. I usually have issues with eyeliners in general, so when I do find an eyeliner that I like, I scream it from the masses. And I'm not someone that does decorative eyeliner. I appreciate the art. I'm not that good at it. I'm just not. I don't do wings. I don't do like fun little fucking designs. I'm not a cake. I can't do any of that. And it comes from a place of jealousy, obviously. But seriously, I can't do any of that. So for me, what I will only use these for are pretty much just above my little lash line. And with cake liners, of course, you cannot use them in the waterline, so a big heads up there. So for me, they have to be pretty special because I just like to jazz up my waterline. I don't really give a fuck too much about my upper lash line, so it has to be like a wow formula for me to even go up there, okay? That said, I've used these liners above the lash line and they're so fucking good. I love them. I fucking love them. And what makes me happy is how easy they are to use. It literally, me, a dum-dum. If I could figure it out, bitch, you could figure it out. All you need is just like a little cap full of water, your little liner brush, you dip your brush into a little bit of water, you dip your brush into the pan, you swirl it around for a second, and you're good to go. I have some liquid liners that just, these eyeliners put some of my liquid liners to fucking shame. I can't believe how opaque they are in one swipe. You do not need to build up. This is the kind of formula that you can also layer them to make a beautiful ombre effect as well. They are fucking so good. And again, I'm gonna throw out majority of my liquid liners because fuck them, I don't need them anymore. These are everything and I need them to release more of this. I need like a whole rainbow of colors, okay? I know I said like I'm very big into the waterline, and I still will always be, but sometimes, you know, I want a little something, like a little extra something, a little flare above the lash line that's not just like a dark color, not like a black or a brown or something like that. So today I actually have a little bit of the celestial shade. This little pop of purple is just giving me all the motherfucking feels right now. I'm obsessed with how I look. Like I would fuck me all day, every day. Like I'm adorable. So I love this. As for longevity, they are fantastic. I have gone outside in the heat, and granted, while everything else has melted, these babies stay. And what I do appreciate is that when you do take them off, they require a little bit of elbow grease, which I love in a liner because that means these motherfuckers are here to stay. And that's what I love about them. I am passionate. I need more. This is fucking perfect. And I love the colors. I think they're so complementary to the rest of the palette. It's utter perfection. So I think adding the cake liners takes this palette from great to excellent. And this is probably hands down one of the most unique palettes I have in my collection, or pretty much tried this year. Not only is this color story fantastic, fantastic. You're going to get a lot of variety out of this. Yes, you're going to need an additional palette if you're looking for transitional colors, because yes, it does lack that, but it's forgivable because you have the addition of these liners. The liners are fucking cool, and I really appreciate that they're also split pan. Well, yes, I wish I could put them in the waterline because they're so opaque and lovely. I'm totally fine with having them above the lash line. And I think if you're into decorative liner, I can't even imagine the shit you can create with this. Be creative for the both of us. I also really like this palette because I feel like, I don't know, as of late, I've been like in a little bit of a funk. Not a lot of cool makeup has been coming out. And now I feel like a lot of things have been coming out lately, which has been great. But this is just such a breath of fresh air. In a sea of just bullshit mediocrity, this stands out. You get so many fabulous finishes within this palette that it makes me excited to keep playing with it. And I love when makeup gets me excited. If I cannot stop thinking about it, that's when I know like that palette is going to be like hands down in the Hall of Fame of amazing palettes. And I cannot stop thinking about this, and I cannot wait to put this all over my fucking face again. So this is definitely worth the splurge. So again, congrats to Monica, congrats to Belle Beauty Bar. This is a fantastic collaboration. And if you're interested, definitely check out the brand and Monica. Everything you need to know will be linked down below. The most important question, had I spent my own money, which I would have spent my own money because the palette was just that cool, I would be happy with it. This is a purchase that is worth every fucking penny. Now, talking about something that may not be worth every fucking penny. Let's talk about Too Faced. The Pumpkin Spice Second Slice palette retails for $54. So this is supposed to be the sequel to the fantastic Pumpkin Pie palette that was released about 2 yonders ago. That said, the biggest noticeable difference between the two is the packaging. For $54, you give me cardboard. That is not cool. Not cool, considering all these palettes used to be in tins. So I'm very disappointed in the cardboard. Yes, it's a first world problem, I get that. But seriously, it really pisses me off. That said, when you do open the palette up, you get a nice quality mirror here, and you have your 18 pan color story. And I will say in the 18 pans, it looks like you do get a little bit more product. So on one hand, it's like, thank you, but also no thank you. Could you just give me my fucking 10? Y'all suck most of the year, okay? This is the only thing I look forward to, and you fuck me. You fuck me by delivering this, okay? I think if you have the previous palette, this looks somewhat similar, and definitely the older palette is the clear winner because it just feels a little bit more unique, but that's just me. But here I am buying it like a fool because I'm a basic bitch that loves pumpkin. Now, full disclosure, I use my Ulta points on this. And with my Ulta points, which I've been racking up, I only had to spend $1.70 on tax. So for me, $1.70 ain't so fucking bad. So let's break it down by formula. Most of the mattes in this palette, I would have to say, they are perfection. I don't really have a bad thing to say about them. They're smooth, they're easy to work with, and easy to blend. And they also provide a nice bit of dimension. I didn't have any experience with patchiness or difficulty using the shades. And I think probably one of my biggest complaints is that some of them do look a little too similar. So I think a few shades could have been omitted for sure. However, their quality is top notch. For Too Faced, that is, okay? It's not gonna twist it. We're still talking about Too Faced. There is some kick up, very little fallout, so just, kind of be mindful of that when using the palette. But I think what pisses me off about this palette is that there are 2 shades that just have like matte with sparkles on them. Like, why? Why do you do this to me? The shade More Please was one of the worst black shades I have ever tried in my life. A shade that has sparkles attached to it, which looks stupid. They serve no purpose whatsoever, with the exception of throwing rogue glitter bukkake all over your face. And when you do finally get the black out, it just looks like it's dirty. It looks dirty. That is the best way I can describe it. It doesn't make the look complete, it just fucks it up, if anything. I don't know who asked for shades like this, but I would like to meet them so I can personally tell them that I have no interest in ever being their friend, because they have questionable motherfucking taste. The other shade is Thankful, and this one's weird because I thought it had sparkle. Oh, I'm sorry, there's only one shade. I thought there was 2 shades. I thought Thankful had some sparkles, but I think it's just the rogue bukkake that kind of fell on it. But Thankful is another shade, like this pink shade. Why? What is this? I don't like that Too Faced likes to throw in random like purple shades. You suck at purple. You suck at like these weird pinky magenta shades. Stop it, bitch. Stop it. I would have liked a fucking green. Put a green in this bitch. Put a green here. Or give me another fucking brown or an orange. This does not need to be here. This doesn't need to be here. That doesn't need to be here. We don't need these things. Anyway, everything else, matte-wise, is fine. Now, moving on to the shimmers, they're okay. Now, keep in mind, don't have any expectations, okay? They're not metallic by any means. They'll trick you to say that they're metallic, but they are not metallic. They're very soft. Think very much like Urban Decay. There is a little something, but again, it's not intense like an Indie Shadow. And I feel like in ways, actually, Urban Decay is more impactful than the Too Faced, believe it or not. The shimmers in this palette require saturation for them to show up. And if you add a little bit of glitter adhesive, it does bring a little punch to the party. But again, it's nothing really to shit your pants about. I know I was talking about how light makeup can be really beautiful, like a light wash or stuff. And I agree with that. And I think with Urban Decay, it's executed better there. This, not so much. Now, with the glitter glue, I will say I didn't experience any like chunkiness, any texture issues or anything like that. Again, there's just a light bit of sparkle. It's fine. But again, nothing to really shit your pants about. But overall, the shadow stayed into place and it had pretty good longevity. Again, if you're someone that doesn't like intensity, this could be for you. If you're someone that likes intensity, then steer clear, clearly. As for the shimmers, you know, again, kind of with the mattes, there is a fair bit of overlap here, which again makes you question, did you really need all of these? No, you didn't. And again, it also begs the question, should this have been released? I think the first palette, it did the job, you know? And I almost wish they would just re-release that palette for those that missed it, because that palette's special. I remember in 2020, that was on my best of list. Like, I know how fucking wild I sound, but it was so good. And that's what I was kind of hoping that they would recreate or recapture that magic, and it just, I don't know, let me down. But I'm not surprised. I'm disappointed, but I'm not surprised. So if you did miss out on the first palette, you know, I could see you wanting to get this palette, and in one regard it's like, yeah, it's not terrible, right? Like I definitely have used shittier palettes, but it's not recapturing that magic of the first one. So if you totally missed the first one and you have no way of getting it, then I could see you picking this one up, but just do not spend $54 on this. It's not worth it. I will say though, with all my bitching, I did enjoy my time with it. I enjoyed the looks that I created with it, minus the shades that are just fucking problematic. But at the end of the day, this palette still leaves me wanting more. The palette released 2 years ago is a fucking icon. Yes, I said it. I know, Too Faced, but it's a fucking icon. And this is like, it's sad sack of shit cousin. Like this is just, nobody wants to talk to you. You're not even fun. Like just, whatever. I'm still gonna keep it though, because I'm a basic ass bitch. And I like pumpkin spice. It only cost me $1.70. Anyway. So if you are someone that has the original palette and you were hoping for, I don't know, a little bit of magic and hoping for a really good sequel to the first palette, don't bother. It's not really worth it. But if you really, really want it and you don't care what the fuck I'm saying, fine. Just don't be an idiot and don't spend $54 for this, especially for this stupid cardboard packaging. You're better than that. Get this when it's at least $50, if not given to you in a back alley somewhere. It's better that way. But if you do have some Ulta points you want to burn and you just feel like buying something, I don't think you're going to be disappointed too much. I definitely think this is like a points palette or definitely a deep discount palette, but a discount nonetheless. Anyway, so yeah, moving on. Last but not least, let's talk about Nomad Cosmetics. The Monteverde Cloud Palette. This bad boy retails for $44. Can we talk about the packaging? The packaging is fucking everything. And I think this is one of my favorite palettes that the brand has put out, especially packaging wise. There's a fucking sloth on this bad boy, okay? There's a sloth, need I say motherfucking more. I think Nomad generally makes beautiful packaging, but this one delivers. Now, full disclosure, this was sent to me, and no, I'm not affiliated, but I know a lot of my lovely friends and colleagues here on YouTube have codes. Go find one of their codes. If you are so inclined in picking this palette up or anything from Nomad. Now with that said, here's my history with Nomad. I have been eyeing Nomad for a hot minute now. I've been looking at them and nothing has really like got me to pull the trigger. And honestly, I don't really know why. I think it's just I kind of forget because there's so many different makeup products that are coming out. So the first thing I've ever picked up from the brand was the Paris palette that came out. I think that was the palette before this, that palette. And that palette's great. Picked it up, loved it. I also picked up the Haunted in Europe palette. Fucking fantastic. And so I was like, ooh, I've been liking this stuff. And so I was actually really pleased as punch when they told me that they were gonna send this to me. So I was like, oh, awesome, thank you. With that said, for $44, you get this fun rainbow color story comprised of 12 mattes and 6 shimmers. And you also do get a nice quality mirror with this palette. Looks like Urban Decay is the only one that sucks here. Anyway, let's break it down by formula. I'm gonna start with the mattes. The mattes are fucking good, bitch. They're good. They're easy to work with. They blend like a dream. I didn't have any issues with patchiness or difficulty using the shadows. They're the kind of shadows that do the work for you, which is what I love and what I look for in a shadow. I am lazy. I want someone or something to do it for me. And these don't disappoint. I'm all about working smarter, not harder, y'all, okay? If we learned anything from this channel, it's working smarter, not harder. And honestly, I'm too tired and I'm too old to be jerking off a palette to make it work for me. The mattes are rich in pigment. Yes, there is some fallout, but overall not too horrible. But I really just love how well they work together. I can create a beautiful gradient with ease without having to deal with any muddiness, patchiness, or any other bullshit. Also, I didn't experience any irritations whatsoever. When it comes to eye sensitivities, usually pressed pigments are just a bitch. They're staining. There's just overall just discomfort, and I didn't experience any of those issues when using this palette. This is a very colorful palette, so if you're looking for, you know, neutral transitions, you're not going to find that here. However, I feel like this pairs perfectly with the Haunted in Europe palette. So if you have that palette, rest assured these work very, very well with each other. I honestly don't have a bad thing to say about the mattes. They're fun. They're just really fun. They're colorful. They're bright. They're intense. They're everything you want them to be. Now moving on to the shimmers, they're fucking good. They're fun. They're easy to use and so goddamn sparkly. Although yes, I did have to use some glitter glue with this palette. It did help the glitter bukkake situation, but you will experience some fallout. So just kind of be mindful of that, of doing your eye look first and then your base. In addition to them having great longevity, they're the kind of shadows where you can layer on top of each other and you're not going to experience that kind of craggly, wrinkly sack texture that sometimes happens when using glitter glue or trying to combine the shimmers to make a gradient. Sometimes you kind of get like a weird chunky texture. You're not going to experience that with these shadows. And lastly, I didn't experience any chunkiness with them. Lately, I feel like some brands have been putting out shimmers that are just chunky messes. These are very, very smooth when applying to the lid. My only complaint, if I have to think of something, is that for me, I wish there were some lighter shimmers, only because I'm looking for a nice light inner corner moment. And a lot of these shadows are not light enough to put in the inner corner for me. So I'm already looking at like my highlighter or another palette to complete my look. So that's the only thing that I'm like, I wish that there was something, whether it was like maybe like a light kind of canary shimmer yellow or something. But again, you know, not the end of the world. I have 95,000 fucking other palettes. I could figure it out. But I just wish there was one or two lighter shimmers, but I'll shut up. Beyond that, everything is wonderful. This is a really fun palette. And there has been a lot of beautiful, colorful palettes lately. We have the Nomad one. We have the Sydney Grace Tina palette. That's also another fucking wonderful palette. We have the Blend Bunny Primal palette. That's another excellent rainbow palette. And I feel like this could definitely be in that category of excellent indie rainbow palettes. This is wonderful. What I also like about this palette is that it gives me a lot of inspiration too. For a colorful palette, I don't feel creatively stunted. I see all the possibilities and I really, really enjoy them. It's one of those palettes for me that, yes, I have it on my face, but then I start thinking about the next time I use it. For me, it makes it a standout when I can't stop thinking about it because I want to put this all over my goddamn face. But more than that, there's a fucking sloth on this palette, okay? There's a sloth on this palette. And maybe it's because I've been watching a lot of Naked and Afraid, and a lot of times we've been spent out in the jungle, that this palette holds a little special place in my heart. It does. I love it. Anyway, if you have been sleeping on Nomad like I did for so fucking long, don't be like me. Don't be an idiot. Definitely go check out this brand. There's a reason why people talk about them. They're fucking fantastic. Not only are they aesthetically motherfucking pleasing, but their quality is fantastic to boot. And had this not been sent to me, I would have picked this up. Why? Because of this goddamn sloth. But no, seriously, I would have picked this up because this is a fun rainbow palette that has, can I say, a lot of fucking green in here, and good green at that. I love every goddamn green in this palette. You know, I keep saying it's a rainbow palette. It's probably more of a green palette than it is a rainbow palette. Either way, I love you. That said, okay, I'm kind of dreading this. I don't want to do this. All right, let's rate these motherfuckers, okay? I'm gonna start with the worst one. All right, I feel like this is gonna be pretty easy. I think this is gonna be easy, okay? I think when it comes to the worst one, I'm gonna say Too Faced, clearly. Too Faced, I want more. I want more. You left me being in love with you in 2020 with a tin packaging that was just superb, okay? It was, yes, I used that word with Too Faced, okay? Fucking sue me. But it was so goddamn good. It's embarrassingly, shockingly good. I love that palette. What is this? Like, it's fine, but it's such a fucking cock tease in comparison to the beautifulness of that palette. You're putting it to shame. I'd rather you re-release that palette and put it in cardboard packaging than to release whatever the fuck this is. Sometimes sequels should not exist, and for that, you are number 4, my friend. Number 3. Okay. I don't know. Here's the deal. Like, I'm kind of on the fence. I know what my number 1 is. Like, I know what my number 1 is. I know that. But like between 3 and 2, Okay. It has to be 3. Urban Decay is gonna be number 3. And I think, okay. Number 3 is gonna be Urban Decay. And the reason for that is that I low-key like this. It reminds me of the Cyber palette. I have a lot of fond memories of that palette. I still use that palette. It's such a weird, it's so stupid, that palette, but I love it. Like, I love it. And this is giving me the vibe of it. But I think what makes this a number 3 for me is that this is too goddamn expensive for what it is. And the packaging is, now looking at it up close more, it's kind of fucking really cheap looking. I love the outside. This is awesome. The artwork is awesome. The lenticular image is awesome. Like, that's fucking cool, right? That's awesome. This looks like shit. This doesn't look good. I don't like that the pan sizes are small. I'm not a fan of that. I question some of the matte choices, even though the formula is fucking good. There should be more of a variety, not the same basic ass bullshit. I don't know, like, the more I look at it, the more I'm seeing the flaws in it, and the more that it becomes number 3. I feel good about that choice. So this is number 3 for me. It's better than Too Faced. It's really good. If you like Cyber, you're gonna like this. Just, it's not worth that fucking $54 price tag. Like, not in this economy, bitch! Especially for that price tag, you're not bringing much to the table. That said, for me, number 2 is Nomad. And I'll go on, I'll talk about why Belle Beauty Bar is number 1, but I really love this Nomad palette. Is it my favorite Nomad palette? No, I think there's a special place for the Haunted in Europe palette for me. This one though, I think it's fantastic. I love the green representation. I love the overall formula. There's a motherfucking sloth on the palette. I love that. But I think for me, I wish there was a lighter shimmer shade. I kind of hate that there isn't, but it's a preference thing, so I'll shut the fuck up about it. But I think that's what kind of stops me. It's just like, I love everything that you're doing, but I still need to go somewhere else to complete the look. You know what I mean? So that's why this is number 2. And for me, the number 1, clearly, is the Belle Beauty Bar. And for that very reason, it's because of these addition of liners. While yes, you can create a full look with this palette. If you're looking for transition shades, you're not gonna find that here, especially if you're looking for like neutral or something like that. So in a way, like, yeah, okay, you might have to go into another palette to use a much more neutral transition if you're going that route. But for me, I think what makes it special is the addition of these liners. And I'm just obsessed with the fucking formula. I think they're fantastic. And again, I cannot believe how easy they are to use and how they're not breaking or flaking or anything. They look so goddamn good. I love them. So for me, this is clearly easily number 1. And also, I failed to mention, I finally got the Oracle palette in the mail. I ordered this the day it launched. Took a little bit to get here. Oh, I had not swatched that one. Oh, excuse me, ma'am? Oh my God. I have the Magician on my face today. It's so good. It's so fucking good. I'm going to make a video about this palette in the future along with the new Blend Bunny one because I think they're kind of similar. So I just ordered that one. I don't know when it's gonna ship, but expect a review kind of comparing these two because I feel like I have to. I have to do it for science. But anyway, this has been wonderful so far. But yeah, this is clearly my number 1. Oh, that wasn't so bad. That wasn't so bad. Okay, that wasn't so bad. Anyway, now I want to hear from y'all. Let me know down below if you have any of these palettes, if you love them, if you hate them. Let me know because I love hearing from you. And of course, if you want to know more information about these palettes, everything you need to know will be listed in the description box below. And with that said, I want to say thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate it as always. Feel free to like, comment, hit that subscribe button. It's free, and hit that bell icon for notification of all my future posts. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Patreon. Oh wait, TikTok. But Patreon to all my beautiful, wonderful patron bubbies. Thank you so much for keeping this delicious, disgusting, filthy, trashy, really filthy, really gross, really nasty, disgusting, really. Garbage but afloat. Couldn't do without you. I love your adorable little delicious faces, and I just want to gobble you all up so you can live inside my belly and we could be one. And it'll be a great old time and be very colorful too, to boot. If you want to know what's currently on my face, I don't know why I'm talking like this, but if you do, everything you need to know will be listed in the description box below. And I can't stop talking like this. This is going to be a problem. I'll see you. I'll see you little pumpkins later. Bye.